Now that was a crime, you purse-scrubbing pukes, and this is the penalty! Hi, welcome to the Motion Picture Notion, and today for Trilogy Tuesday, it's actually Monday, but I'm filming it so that my video will actually come out on Tuesday, and this will probably be the first Trilogy Tuesday that actually has come out on Trilogy Tuesday. Too many trilogies, baby. Anyways, I'd like to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle trilogy. Now, just to be clear, I do technically count TMNT from 2007 as being part of that series, because it is, but what I'm really going with is like the whole like Jim Henson actual martial artist dressed in partial animatronic suits, which is just like crazy. So anyways, I really grew up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, and you know, just totally stoked every time it came on. You know, so when the day came that my parents got me the VHS of the Ninja Turtles movie, I was like, no way! I was so excited. I have to say that, you know, even having grown up, like, I still watch that movie and do enjoy the epic factor. The thing that was really interesting about it was how seriously they took it. I mean, the characters, like particularly Michelangelo, were silly, but like, all the characters were very well represented, and it was actually like dark, gritty, and kind of violent. The atmosphere was really dark. The Foot Clan, like, you know, in the cartoon, they were robots, and in this movie, they were basically like teenage kids that were being used by the Shredders. And he had like this whole like underground lair set up in an abandoned factory with like, you know, like skateboards and arcades and all sorts of crazy shit. You know, basically, like, yeah, he'd like lure them in being like, hey, you weren't appreciated at home, guys, but I am your father now, and everything's cool because you are here. But you have to become a foot soldier, motherfuckers. So there's all that. But like, even the portrayal of the Turtles, particularly on behalf of Raphael, you know, the dynamic between him and Leonardo, and how Raphael is really the angsty, like, angry one. He's like really the first turtle that we spend a lot of time with. You know, he goes out in the city in disguise, dressed in like a trench coat, and he runs into Casey Jones, played by Elias Koteas, which in my opinion was just like one of the best parts of the movie. And he actually had a hockey mask and a baseball bat, not motorcycle helmet and maracas. But even his character, it's like, he was like really brutal. He was like ready to like literally hospitalize a couple of teenagers at the beginning of the movie. This dude's like a loose cannon, and I thought that it was actually really cool that they portrayed him that way without making it like too graphic. I never thought that at any moment the Turtles movie, even the more intense parts, really exceeded a PG. Parents felt differently, but you know, the work that went into it was just, I mean, anything that Jim Henson had done before, and I'm even talking like Labyrinth, okay? Labyrinth had a lot of really beautiful set pieces, and the puppets were really elaborate and cool, and had David Bowie, which was also awesome. But like the Ninja Turtles, you had guys in costumes doing this crazy martial arts shit, and they had like animatronic faces. The way they brought the Ninja Turtles to life was so like meticulous and just cool and difficult that the work that went into it and the product that came out is far superior to the new Ninja Turtles movies. Not that I'm saying that those are bad, but. So anyways, you know, really enjoyed the grittiness, you know, even like, you know, when Master Splinter, when Shredder's got him like chained up and stuff, he walks up all pissed off and he literally like fucking pimp slaps Master Splinter with his like fucking the bottom non-sharp end of his blades, and she's like, ooh. So anyways, good movie. Enjoyed the hell out of it. Enjoy the hell out of it today, and I would totally let kids watch it. But I guess I can understand at the time where parents were coming from. So, Jim Henson Studios, Jim Henson himself, listened to the parents, apparently. The second movie was really not bad. Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, and it actually was cool how they kind of like went into the backstory, and they actually tell you about the ooze itself. It's this company, TGRI, and that's really what the whole second movie has to do with. There were only really two major issues with it that I had. Number one, no Casey Jones. And I think that that really was, they felt that his character was a little too heavy, a little too violent, and, you know, they wanted to tone this one down. And Ninja Turtles 2, it was a lot lighter, and it was funnier. It was a decent sequel, but it was not as good as the original, in my opinion. The other major problem that I had with it was Tokka and Razor. It was basically a baby wolf and a snapping turtle that the Shredder and Master Tatsu captured, and they exposed them to the ooze because they wanted, like, these, you know, super soldiers. But it turns out that they were babies. So they're both kind of like morons, but they've imprinted themselves on the Shredder because they're like, Mama, and stuff. So he basically tells them, go out in the city, go, play, have fun. So, of course, Tokka and Razor are, like, you know, smashing cars and ripping down telephone poles and stuff. And I mean, that was all cool, but the entire time that I'm watching this, I'm like, where's Bebop and Rocksteady? Why? I mean, no beef with Tokka and Razor. It's cool that they kind of like upped it a little bit and they added more mutants to the story. You know, you want to expand on it when you do a sequel, but like, why not Bebop and Rocksteady? But at any rate, you know, Ninja Turtles 2 was a lot of fun. Kino was a little annoying in parts, but that's okay, you know, and I always enjoyed that just as much, honestly, as a kid. I mean, I kind of wish they had stuck to their gritty roots, but again, all things considered, really was not a bad movie. Then there was Ninja Turtles 3, and when I was not really old enough to know what a fucking horrible movie that was, I enjoyed it. I mean, Jim Henson died either during the filming of or shortly thereafter Ninja Turtles 2. That's why the movie is dedicated to his memory. Ninja Turtles 3 is like an insult to everything that Jim Henson ever did. The new turtle costumes that they had were fake looking as shit. They were like a brighter green. They looked like a bunch of Kermit the Frogs running around, honestly. I mean, I even remember it in one scene. If you watch Ninja Turtles 3, it's actually on Netflix. Unfortunately, it's the only Ninja Turtles movie on Netflix. But if you watch part 3, there's a scene where this, you know, the Japanese prince or whatever, like, you know, passes out, and Michelangelo has a fan, and he's, like, fanning him. And if you look, you can see, like, his thumb is, like, caved in. Like, it's just this thin rubber thing over a human thumb, and it's like, dude, it's like, come on, you guys didn't even try. What the hell? You'd think that they would have still had all the access to all the old shit that they had, you know, or they at least would have had some sort of designer that could have replicated the old turtle costumes and made them look good. I don't know. But anyways, it's like, this is post-Shredder, so they tried to do something new involving time travel, and there's some plot holes looking at it as an adult that's kind of, it doesn't really make sense. When you show up, you're supposed to basically like transfer clothes with whoever you change with. Like anything that you have in the material world you won't have when you travel through time. You'll be wearing the clothes of whoever you switched with. And yet April O'Neil still goes back with like a Walkman, and a lot of the jokes were really, really corny. There were some that were alright. They did bring back Casey Jones, and they left him back in time. I think it was supposed to be like a shout out to the original film, but they were still too scared to like really put the violence in it again. So they're like, here, we'll have Casey Jones basically like be the babysitter of all these like Japanese warriors in modern day. And that was probably actually my favorite part of the movie, like his interaction with those characters, trying to teach them how to play hockey and, I don't know, just introducing them to the 20th century. That was all really cool. The moral majority of the movie, unfortunately, is spent in, you know, ancient Japan with the turtles, where a lot of the jokes fall flat. It was like the most like juvenile of the three of them, and I just sorta, I would have rather they just left it alone, or waited a long ass time. Again, TMNT was really probably closer to what a legit Ninja Turtles movie would have been than Part 3. But hey, you know something? Fact of the matter is, the first two movies were good, and I'm not gonna lie, all three of them I did enjoy as a child. And even the shitty third one will hold a special place in my heart, even though it's extremely easy to make fun of and is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a good movie. I mean, for those of you who haven't seen it, for those of you youngins out there who are really stoked about the new Ninja Turtles movie, check out the old ones. There's actually a lot more violence in them. I think you might like it. But, at any rate, that's all she wrote.